Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalptarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya cha, Nandagopakumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namaha Pankajanabhaya, Namaha Pankajamaline, Namaha Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. Hare Krishna. So, he reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die. When thou art living still in sound, the Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread a holy life around. That is the Bhaktivinod Thakur's writings. So, today, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur's disappearance day and Sri Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day. I'll speak briefly about both the great personalities. Usually, in general, devotees, they speak about Bhaktivinod Thakur. That Baisakhi Sen and that Baba, all that, stories all of you know, right? I would like to speak something which you don't know much. So, I will start by saying, last time when I gave Bhaktivinod Thakur's Disappearance Day class, I have described early childhood, how he was a very rich man, Jamindar's son, then they all became poverty-stricken. Then one aspect of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur is throughout his life, right from the childhood, he was always ill. He was sick, like that. Then once he was very, very sick, typhoid or something. One Baula, one Babaji, There also, like he, uh, he told, he gave give him only prasad, he will become all right. Yeah, he will become all right. Then he predicted that in future he will become a very great saint and spread Krishna consciousness. Like that he predicted, that Baul, that Babaji, like that. He belonged to a deviant sect that time, but still it was like that. Anyway, so today I will start with his uh, life in Jagannath Puri, right? So in Jagannath Puri, Sri Bhaktivinod Thakur, he was appointed as magistrate, controller, in charge of Jagannath Temple, Jagannath Temple by Britishers. So Srila Prabhupada said that British, they were afraid of two Indian gentlemen, not Mr. Gandhi. Right? One is Kedarnath Datta, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Another is, I think, Bankinchand Chatterjee or somebody, Rajaram. Huh? Nah. They said, if Kedarnath Datta would take part in freedom movement, British have to leave very immediately, quickly. Like that he was. So this was told by William Duke. William Duke. So later on, he was working with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then he understood that this gentleman, this personality, is too intelligent. So he always tried to harm Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This was told by him only in his later days. So later on, he was saying, I always try to harm you because if the man continues to work like this, British have to leave immediately, very soon. We will not be able to stay here. Like that. Anyway, so that is his greatness of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he lived in Jagannath Puri, he was at the time only. Then initially there was a pastime where he was acted like a karmi and then all that stuff. Then he became a gradual. He showed like that. But anyway, we should not. These are all pastimes of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is not an ordinary man. He is not like that. Just like many times I told, once Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur offered obeisance to his guru, Bipin Bihari Goswami. And then Bipin Bihari Goswami kept his feet on the head of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. At that time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was a 6-year-old boy. Said, do you have power to accept, to keep your feet on the head of my father? Do you know who he is? He is Manjari in the pastimes of Radha Krishna. So Bipin Bihari Goswami, your son is very impudent. Like that he complained. Like that. So in Jagannath Puri, then he started preaching Krishna consciousness and then controlling Jagannath temple. He would conduct kirtan, Bhagavatam, discourses on Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita in Jagannath Vallabh garden. So where Ramananda Roy's Bhajan Sthali, that is, Jagannath Vallabh garden. I think he wrote Jagannath Vallabh Natak also, Ramananda Roy. So there, because of his purity and his eloquence in Krishna conscious subject matters, many people got attracted. Many people got attracted. Then there is one very famous Babaji, Raghunath Das Babaji. in Jagannath Puri. He had some kind of hatred. Please listen this very carefully, what I am going to say. He had some kind of hatred for Bhaktivinod Thakur because he was not sporting Sikha and Kantimala. So he was actually arguing how he can be a Vaishnava if he is not sporting Tilak and Kantimala, Tulsi Kantimala, like that. So he started doing prachar against Bhaktivinod Thakur, saying that he is not a bona fide Vaishnava. Right? He is not a bona fide Vaishnava. Don't go and attend his lectures. So he hated to attend the lectures of Bhaktivinod Thakur. And then at the same time, he instructed many of the people in Jagannath Puri. This Bhaktivinod Thakur, of course, this title Bhaktivinod Thakur was given later actually. But he was always known as Kedarnath Babu, Kedar Babu. Kedarnath Datta, Sri Kedarnath Datta, very like that. Anyway, we are Bhaktivinod Thakur. So Bhaktivinod Thakur, don't attend his lectures and all that. So because he was blaspheming Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, that Raghunath Das Babaji, he became severely ill and he was about to die. He was about to die. Then Lord Jagannath came in the dream of Raghunath Das Babaji. And then told him, Bhaktivinod Thakur is not an ordinary person. Go and beg forgiveness from him, then you will become all right. Otherwise, you will die. Then immediately Raghunath Das Babaji, he went to Bhaktivinod Thakur's house and then fell at his lotus feet and offered Dandavat Pranam and then begged forgiveness. Please forgive me. Like that. Then Bhaktivinod Thakur, as Vaishnavas are very merciful, then immediately he lifted him and embraced him and then he forgave him. Then Bhaktivinod Thakur only gave him medicine, gave some medicine, then he became all right. So later on, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur commented, then both of them started associating with each other. Raghunath Das Babaji, he was spreading the fame of Bhaktivinod Thakur. Then they became very good friends. Then Bhaktivinod Thakur commented that he is a Siddha Purusha. He is a Siddha Purusha. Raghunath Das Babaji, he is a Siddha Purusha. So just imagine, Siddha Purusha, even if he commits offense, like that. Sometimes, that's why we should not think, so much of ourselves that I am such a great Vaishnava and all that. I came to know how I am not a Vaishnava. Somebody was abusing me so much and Stephen even tried to hit me in the courtyard also. Then I was thinking, kuch ho jayega, abhi tak kuch nahi hua. Then I understood I am not a Vaishnava. You can offend me, no problem. You can abuse me, beat me, nothing will happen. But just Bhaktivinod Thakur, just by saying, we all keep saying, no, don't attend his lecture, that lecture, oh, badmash hai, right? Nothing will happen, happens to us, like that. It is then like that. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, very, very nicely, he was very, very devoted to Lord Jagannath. Right? Lord Jagannath. When he would go to the temple, take darshan, and then attend festivals, attend various artis. So he wrote in his biography, in his notes, that I really feel very, very blissful to go to Lord Jagannath temple and attend all the festivals. It is very, very spiritual awakening. He was addressing Lalu, Lalit Prasad. When will you get the taste? Like that he was telling his son. When will you get the taste to attend all the festivals and all that? So he would go, then there he would see in Mukti Mandap, some of the smarta brahmanas, they would sit and discuss philosophy. discuss philosophy. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur commented that all these smarta brahmanas, mostly 99%, they were Mayavadis, followers of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya. So when he would go to Jagannath temple, take darshan, he would feel very blissful. When he would go for parikrama, when he would reach that Mukti Mandap, when he would see all these brahmanas sitting and discussing Mayavad philosophy, and then giving instructions to many pilgrims and all, many pilgrims and all, his mind would become disturbed. His mind would become disturbed. Then he would skip meeting them, and then he would go to where Lord Chaitanya's lotus footprints were there. There he would sit and do bhajana, and then he would speak to the people. When he would speak, many people became attracted. Purity is the force. Like that. Then one day, Maharaj of Puri Maharaj, he came with his chelas. And then he created a great commotion when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was giving Bhagavatam class. He was giving Bhagavatam class. There is one Ramanuja's, in Srirangam, they have this, system of taking the deities. And then there is one Kalakshepa Mandapam. Kalakshepa, in Tamil and Telugu, Kalakshepam, Katha Kalakshepam. Means they sit and discuss Katha. It's called Katha Kalakshepam. So, when the deity would come, all the people, they would come and raise, offer obeisances, and then Katha becomes disturbed. So Ramanuja commented, this deity is Kalakshepa Banga. He disturbs Kalakshepa. Every time he would come, people would become, offer obeisances, they become distracted. They would become distracted. So this Katha is so important. Devotees, should be very, very careful not to speak at all during Bhagavatam class. They should not do anything else, except hearing. Prabhupada actually wanted not to make even notes. He did not want, he was not appreciating. Prabhupada was not appreciating, not to make notes. Just hear. Like that. Then the deity instructed his disciples, his followers, please don't take me in this route. They were blaming me. Katha Kalakshepa Banga. Like that. That deity's name, it became like that. Then anyway. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he became very upset. He became very upset. That you may be the king of Puri, but it is outside Jagannath temple. Outside Jagannath temple. Here, Lord Jagannath is the supreme master, and his Bhagavat Katha is the supreme. You have offended Lord Jagannath by, making this commotion when Bhagavat Katha is going on. And immediately the king was a little humble, and then he offered obeisances and then begged forgiveness from Bhagavatam and Lord Jagannath and Bhaktivinoda Thakur and all the devotees. Then everybody, they forgave him. Like that. So, this corruption is, Kali Yuga means cheating. Kali Yuga means cheating. Corruption is everywhere. Just sometimes we also see, right, in ISKCON, some scandals, financial scandals. It's not a big thing, because in 1870s or during that time, Puri Maharaj stole 80,000 rupees. Kitna? 80,000 rupees. That means 80 crores maybe. Right? according to, if you adjust inflation, 80,000 rupees he stole. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, very expert in catching hold of these scoundrels. Because of the favorable attitude of British towards Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kedarnath Babu, they gave him lot of powers. British government gave lot of powers. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur punished him very strictly, very severely, not strictly, very severely he punished Maharaj Puri Maharaj. Very severely punished. He ordered him 52 times, he has to offer Chappan Bhog to Lord Jagannath. 52 times. Because of that, his treasury got depleted. Pura paisa khatam ho raha hai. He became very disturbed. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very, very powerful personality because British government gave him a lot of powers. So he was unable to do any harm to. And then not only that, because of his kathas and Nam Sankirtan, he was very popular in Jagannath Puri. He established many systems. Very nicely he was managing Jagannath temple. That is why he became very popular. So he did not want him to assassinate him publicly by hiring some people and murdering him and all that. But Puri Maharaj, he wanted to kill him because of this punishment, and then he's got his finances getting depleted. That is why he hired 50 Brahmanas. He hired 50 Brahmanas. In Vedas, there are different kinds of mantras are there. One is Abhicharika mantra, Abhisarika mantra. Abhisarika mantra means if you chant those mantras, your enemies will die. Devotees should never chant those mantras, Abhisarika mantras. In Bhagavatam, 2nd canto also is there. Rajyakama Manun Devan Nairuti Abhicharika Yajet. Those who want to kill enemies, they should worship demons. That is the 2nd canto, 3rd chapter. Rajyakamo Manun Devan Nairiti Abhisarika Yajet. Kamyakamo Yajet Somam Akama Purushottama Purushatmana. It is one of the verses by Sukadeva Goswami, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter. So Nairuti. So they were all these Brahmanas, they have assembled, and then they were performing a great sacrifice, chanting mantras. Bhaktivinod hataha, Kedarnath dat hataha, you should die, like that. Can you imagine? Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur had some Gurucharis, informants, informing him what is happening. Right? So, there is a difference between Draupadi's surrender and Prahlad Maharaj and Ambrish Maharaj's surrender. Later on, Shiva Vaishnava Acharyas, they say, there is a dosha, Sharanagati dosha, Prapatti dosha, they say, because she was begging everybody to save her. Whereas, Prahlad Maharaj and Ambrish Maharaj, they never prayed, they never tried to protect themselves. Rakshayiti iti Vishwasa. This is one of the limbs of surrender, Sharanagati, like that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur said he didn't do anything to counter them, counter Maharaj Puri. So on the last day, I think some 40 days yajna they were doing, Abhisarika yajna, to kill the enemy. Right? And when the Purna Huti, whatever, the Purna Huti was about to be offered to say that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has to be killed. He got a news that his only very dear son died. Died. So later on, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in his notes that this Raja had some problem with me because of my strictness. He wanted to kill me. By the mercy of Lord Jagannath, I got saved. I got saved. Like that. So, there is one Paramahamsa Vaishnava, recognizes another Paramahamsa Vaishnava. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj's associate, Swarup Das Babaji. So he was associating with Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur recognized him as Paramahamsa. Right? We can, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur described his daily activities. That whole day he would, do Nam Japa. Paramaham, whole day he would do Nam Japa. Then he would come in the evening and then he would take darshan of Lord Jagannath and then participate in Nam Sankirtana. And then if somebody gives some prasad, he would take prasad. Then he would speak something about Lord Jagannath. And then again in the night, again he would do Nam Japa. Like that. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur certified that he is a Paramahamsa Vaishnava. Paramahamsa Vaishnava. No, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji's associate. Swarup Das Babaji. Swarup Das Babaji. Like that. Machhar kaat raha hai. Do something. So, anyway, I forgot to tell, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained to Raghunath Das Babaji that how can I wear Kantimala and Tilak because I am not initiated. Because I am not initiated. Then Raghunath Das Babaji asked, why you are not getting initiated? Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, how can I initiate? Lord Chaitanya is not sending somebody to initiate me. So this is a great science, Gaur Gunj Maharaj also says, you should cry. I have opened a crying school in Bhubaneswar. You should cry to get association with a pure devotee. You should cry to get initiated by a pure devotee. You should cry to learn how to cry for Krishna. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then later on, so after some time, he was transferred to a place called Narail. Then in 1880, he published a book called Sri Krishna Samhita. Sri Krishna Samhita. Anybody has read? आगे बैठो, क्यों खड़े हो? क्या हुआ? बैठो. He was afraid I will ask questions. Once he was sitting and I was asking questions. So, anybody read this book? Krishna, Sri Krishna Samhita? Prabhu, you read? Yeah. It's a very great book. Great book. Long time back, I have read it. It was in BI library. It was there. So I went through the contents, like that. So. Dr. Reinhold Rost, a great Oriental scholar of the day. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent this book to this scholar. Then he wrote back saying that a long and painful illness has prevented me from thanking you earlier for the kind present of your Sri Krishna Samhita. By representing Krishna's character and his worship in a more sublime and transcendent light than has hitherto been accustomed to regard him in, you have rendered an essential service to your core religions. So like that. So then there is a very famous guy, Waldo Emerson. He is also a scholar, a Western scholar. He sent a book to him also. That so this is so in that book only I have vaguely remember one thing, one very nice thing. In Krishna Samhita, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote that in Satya Yuga, all the people are Paramahamsas, and they used to chant a certain mantra. I don't remember, a certain mantra. They would get only Shantaras, Paramahamsas. Right? And then in Dwapar Yuga, one vice is introduced. Right? One vice is introduced. And people are mostly very pious, almost 100% pious. Only one vice was there, but mostly people are pious. They would get Shantaras and Dasyaras only. Right? And then in Dwapar Yuga, two vices have been introduced. Two vices have been introduced. And then people will get Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras, and little bit of Vatsalyaras. Then, in Kali Yuga, people are the most fallen. Most fallen. Then people in Kali Yuga get conjugal rasa, Ujjval rasa. This is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now, of course, Srila Prabhupada. So, later on, in 1880, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur composed a book, Kalyana Kalpataru. Amiras Prabhu, you have that book? Kalyana Kalpataru? So he presented the entire Bhagavat philosophy. Entire Bhagavat philosophy, gradually. Then prayers offered by a pure soul in transcendental humility. Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, it is mentioned. And then prayers which express hankering for devotional service. And then confession of the mind with pleading in petition to the Lord. There are three kinds of prayers. What are the English, Sanskrit words? Manmohan Prabhu? In Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, there are three kinds of prayers. Anybody knows Sanskrit? Anyway, so these are the, when every day, like Prabhupada writes in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, that anybody who offers these prayers, Queen Kunti's prayers, and then Bhishma Deva's prayers, Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, Dhruv Maharaj's prayers, then demigods' prayers, Brahmaji's prayers, and then my favorite Rudra Gita, Lord Shiva's prayers. So Prabhupada writes that that person who offers prayers in front of the deity, that devotee becomes very dear to Krishna. And that devotee becomes pujaniya, worshipable by demigods and great sages. Right? So when I read, I said, why not? So I learnt many prayers, Queen Kunti's prayers, Bhishma Deva's prayers. Every day I offer prayers in the morning, after Guru Puja, after Darshan Arati and after Mangala Arati, in front of the deities. So you all can learn some of the prayers, Queen Kunti's prayers, Prabhupada stressed upon. Then Brahma Samhita prayers, the best, Dhruv Maharaj's prayers. There are only 12 prayers, right? You can all learn. So Bhaktivinod Thakur wrote, in Kalpataru, Kalyana Kalpataru, to offer prayers. So later on, he wanted to describe intimate pastimes of Radha Krishna in that book. Then he got a message that please don't do that. Then he wrote that he was feeling, then he did not write because people are not qualified to understand. Because in the beginning, he was how to practice bhakti and then offering prayers to become perfect. Then in the perfected stage, he wanted to write those pastimes. Then he got a message that he should not write like that. So at that time, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, he was feeling the urgency to get initiated. To get initiated. Then he was looking, and then at one day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the dream of Sri Bhaktivinod Thakur. Then indicated that a Brahmana is coming, take initiation from him. So that was Bipin Bihari Goswami. Right? He is a descendant of Srila Vamsi Vadanananda Thakura, an associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was given the charge of caring for Lord Chaitanya's mother and wife after Lord took sannyas. So he was a descendant of that. So Bipin Bihari Prabhu, Mama Prabhu Vara, Sri Vamsi Vadanananda Vamsa Shashadhara. So Bhaktivinod Thakur, like that. So he was, initially it was okay with him, it was okay with him. Then Bhaktivinod Thakur, he went to Vrindavan. There he became severely afflicted by fever. Severely afflicted by fever. So there he prayed to Srimad Radharani and Gopal, Shyam Sundar, that I came to Dham. So please relieve me from this fever, because I want to meet Vaishnavas and sadhus and worship you properly. That is why I am not able to worship you properly. You give me this fever as my prarabdha karma after I leave Vrindavan. That arrangement, humko to hota nahi aisa. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, first health, then sadhana, then service. Right? If you are not well, if you are not keeping good health. Once I met Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, on the veranda. So I was inquiring about his health. So he said, I am taking some physiotherapy. My only fear because he was having frozen shoulder. Uh, my only fear that I won't be able to do Arti. That's why I was praying to Krishna. Maharaj told me like that. So that was, if you have frozen shoulder or you have some stomach problem, then you cannot come and do Arti or dance in the Kirtan. So that's why there is one book, Bhakti Aloka, I think, Bhaktivinod Thakur. Devotees sometimes, there are under two circumstances they can pray to Krishna. One is if you are very, very ill, very, very ill, you can pray to Krishna to relieve me from this disease so that I can perform devotion service. And then too many family problems. Too many family problems are there. Wife is giving trouble, like that. Srila Prabhupada told Gargamuni Prabhu, don't get married. Don't get married. He was a very rich man's son. Then Gargamuni Prabhu, then when Srila Prabhupada left for India because he was sick, then they all lost association of Srila Prabhupada. Then he got distracted and then he was married to some girl. Then she was a drug addict and all that. Of course, it's a natural thing. Then two Vaishnavas later on who became very famous, I don't want to, I can read that book. They kidnapped her or something like that. She started living with them. She started living with them. So Gargamuni Prabhu went with a knife to retrieve his wife. Like that. Then he saw both the boys. Then he felt compassion and then he started preaching to them. Then he left that girl that lady with them, and then he got like that. So later on, when Srila Prabhupada came back to US, Srila Prabhupada asked Gargamuni Prabhu, "Are you married?" Prabhupada, "My wife ran away." My wife ran away. Then Srila Prabhupada got up and embraced him. You are very lucky. You are very lucky. Like that. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur prayed to Srimad Radharani to become relieved from fever so that he can. So there he met Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. He was a Maha Bhagavat and Paramahamsa. So he would later on, of course, help. In 6 months he would stay in Vrindavan, 6 months he would stay in Navadvip Mayapur, like that. So Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, later on, he accepted Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj as his Siksha Guru. So when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur compiled Parampara list, he did not name Bipin Bihari Goswami because Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, later on, seeing some of the activities of Bipin Bihari Goswami, he became disenchanted with him and then he became a little bit disappointed. Then he started keeping distance from Bipin Bihari Goswami. Then later on, he fully dedicated himself to Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Goswami to a lesser status by omission. Vipin Bihari Goswami initially enjoyed a very sweet relationship with the Thakura, but later on he is said to have been neglected by the Thakura due to a disagreement about the position of Raghunath Das Goswami. So like that. So later on, there is a very less time. So of course, later on, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, he was transferred to many places, Barasat, if you see, there is a place. So there, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur wanted to establish a place in Kolkata, at the time. So he purchased Bhakti Bhavan. Bhakti Bhavan. Now I think we got it right, Bhakti Bhavan. So in Jagannath Puri also there is a Bhakti Bhavan. Long time back ISKCON has purchased. It was in a dilapidated condition. That time I saw also. So later on ISKCON built a temple there. Now temple is there. It's a very Bhakti Bhavan. So that Bhakti Bhavan he purchased for 6,000 rupees. 6,000 rupees. So then he built a place, and then he did, because his family members are very reluctant to shift to that place. Like that. So later on, when he was living in Barasat, there is a very great personality, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. He wrote a book, Krishna Charita. Krishna Charita. He greatly offended Lord Krishna by describing him as an ordinary person with great qualities. Many people they mistake like that. Bhaktivinod Thakur, at the time he was very famous. He was a very famous personality. So Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, he came and met Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur and gifted that book. He gifted that book. And then when Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur read that book, he was very furious, and then he became very grief-stricken. He was very unhappy that, he described his Lord Krishna as an ordinary man. Then he wrote a critic that how Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all his wonderful qualities, Ananta Kalyan Guna Sampanna, and then Divya Mangala Murti, how his form is transcendental, his qualities are wonderful, transcendental, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. Very nicely he wrote a critic and then gifted him, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. When Bankim Chandra Chatterjee read the comments of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, he became a devotee. Then that book, he was became very famous and all, and then people are appreciating because the secular minded, all appealing to the secular people, saying that Krishna is ordinary personality and all that. So when he re-edited that book and then published, how Prabhupada writes that Naikatmana na spruhayanti kechit mat pada sevabirita madiha anyonyam bhagavatim prasajya sabhajayante mama paurushani. This is a verse from 3rd canto, 25th chapter. In that verse, Prabhupada writes that my devotee, Lord Kapila says, my devotees, they are not at all interested in merging with impersonal Brahman and all that. They are always aspiring to serve my lotus feet. And then they meet together and they describe my wonderful activities. My wonderful activities. So Srila Prabhupada writes, these mundane people, they think that lifting Govardhan hill and all, they are fictitious, mythology and all that. But for devotees, they more and more discuss about Krishna's wonderful pastimes and they become very blissful. Prabhupada writes, Madashraya kathamrushta shrunvanti katayanti cha tapanti vividastapa naitan madgata chesasa. This is same Lord Kapila's verse. So he says, pure devotees of the Lord, they are always discussing about Krishna's activities, his creation and how is, everything, all the activities. And then they are so Krishna conscious, they forget about, they don't become aware of threefold miseries. And karmis, on the other hand, they always merged in material consciousness. That's why they are always suffering. Like that. So then Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, he regarded Bhaktivinod Thakur very highly, and then he started associating with him. And then all the Western scholars and then Indian scholars who are bootlickers of Western people, They started criticizing Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, saying that you are establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his activities as transcendental instead of some some historical facts, historical like that. So they didn't agree. But Bankim Chandra Chatterjee did not bother, did not care. Then, but later on, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, they, along with Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, they started some journal. Then he started writing articles praising Krishna and all. Initially, every 15 days they used to release, and then after that monthly it became. Later on, after 1 or 2 years, Bhaktivinod Thakur disassociated because Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, he started, because he was a freedom fighter, all that, he started adding some secular stuff. Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur said, I don't want anything to do with this freedom movement or secularism and all that. Like that. So then he dissociated like that. Anyway, actually my main purpose was to say, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, after some time, he wanted to retire and go to Vrindavan and become a Babaji and do Nirjan Bhajan. Do Nirjan Bhajan. Like that. So he was planning, and then he applied for retirement, voluntary retirement from British government. But British government rejected the appeal. Then, meanwhile, he was planning to go to Vrindavan. Then, meanwhile, Lord Chaitanya came in the dream of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. Then he said, you can go to Vrindavan later. You have some service to do in Mayapur. Navadvip Mayapur. Navadvip Dham. Don't go now. Then Bhaktivinod Thakur was amazed. Oh, what is this? Like that. Then he appealed to the government to post him in Krishnanagar. That British officer, he was very fond of Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur. He said, no way, I can't lose you. I cannot lose you. Then, because recently only you were transferred, I cannot, it's not good. Then he went to Krishnanagar. He met that officer, that magistrate. He made an agreement. You come to Calcutta, Barsat. I will go to Krishnanagar. Like that. So many things have happened. Then he went to Navadvip. Then he started staying in Rani Dharmashala. So when he was staying in Rani Dharmashala, when he was standing on the terrace of that building, suddenly he saw very huge, wonderful place shining, huge palace shining. Like that. Then at that time his son also was there, Kamalakant or Kamalnath. He asked, did you see that light? Did you see that Bhavan? Yes, father, I saw it. Then he asked his servant, did you see? He said, I didn't see. So then he came to, then he searched, he searched everywhere. Then that is the Ballal Digi, Raja Lakshman Sen's palace. So then he started doing research, Bhakti Ratnakara, Chaitanya Bhagavat, he read, Chaitanya Bhagavat he read. Then he took out some maps of some king. His mind was fixed. Lord Chaitanya had appeared on the eastern side of Ganga. But Navadvip is on the other side of Ganga, So later on, some of his relatives and some of the residents of Navadvip, they have informed him that Navadvip is just 100 years old city. 100 years old city. It is not there. So I know my childhood. In front of me, Navadvip was established. Like that. Then he found some quotations, in that Sri Mayapura and all that. Then he recognized this place as the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Then he wanted to confirm Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Right? Sri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. So, Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, at the time he was 120 years old. Right? Yeah, 120 years old. If he wanted to see anything, they had to lift his eyelids. Like that. So they requested, please come and confirm. So they brought him in palanquin. And then when he reached this place, he jumped out of that palanquin. Then he started dancing. Eito Nimai Janmasthan. Like that. So then he established it. So later on, so in 1888, it was found out. He established. So later on, Eito Nimai Janma Bhumi, So then it's all established. Then when they were digging later on, they found Adokshaja Vishnu's deity, which was worshipped by Jagannath Das Babaji, Jagannath Mishra, Jagannath Mishra, like that. So later on, of course, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur wrote so many books. Then he established Swananda Sukhada Kunja in Godrum Dweep. He wanted to like that. So at the age of 57, he retired from government service. Then he was settled. Then few days before, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur went to Kolkata. He said, anybody who builds a place in Dham for devotees to come and stay in Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, Krishna will build a place for them in Golok Vrindavan. So he told that whenever you go to Mayapur Dham or Jagannath Puri Dham or Vrindavan Dham, bring something and eat every day, some ghee or some chawal, something like that. Because in Dham, all of them, they are imbued with the service to Krishna. So if you eat the substances brought from Dhams, you will get the same mood of service to Radha and Krishna. Like that. So he advised like that. So then he said, I want each and every gentleman of Kolkata to give at least 1 rupee donation. I don't want to collect big donation from anybody, because I want that everybody should get a credit that they have helped building a temple in Mayapur, Yogpit, for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that. So it was declared, of course, later on, Shishir Kumar Ghosh, he became a very great friend of Bhaktivinod Thakur. Then he was the editor or owner of Amrita Bazaar Patrika. He actually described, he gave a title, I have not seen 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, but I have seen you, you are the 7th Goswami. You are the 7th Goswami. Like that. So later on, he got the title Bhaktivinod, one who relishes the pastimes of Krishna, Bhaktivinod. Then once Srila Prabhupada said, great Paramahamsa Vaishnavas, they are addressed as Thakura, Bhaktivinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Then once Bhakti Charu Maharaj addressed Prabhupada, Thakur Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, a time will come, people will recognize and give me the title. Now, like that, Prabhupada, Thakur. So that Thakur, later on he became Thakur Bhaktivinod Thakur, Thakur Bhaktivinod, he became later on. So, there, I will, so he collected 1 rupee, 10 paisa from each and every gentleman. So this Amrit Bajar Patrika, they published a article, said the great personality, the great magistrate, of Indian government, Kedarnath Babu, Kedarnath Datta Babu, he is coming to collect. I don't think anybody will refuse to give him a donation of, small amount. Those who don't give, they will be very unfortunate. Like that he narrated. So many people, they came forward, and then that temple was built. So later on, in his last days, he wanted to take Babaji initiation. Babaji initiation. Then he requested Shri Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj to give Babaji, initiation. Then he, how Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he said, no, you are my guru. I am a spiritual master of your son, and then you are my guru. I was taking siksha from you. How can I give Babaji initiation to you? Like that. No. Bhaktivinoda Thakur persisted. No, you should give. Then he, along with some of his associates, he went to, I think the place, Navadvip, I think, where he was staying. Gaurkishore Das Babaji Maharaj left his Bhajan Kutir, then he went and sat on the veranda of a prostitute house. Then Bhaktivinoda, he said, he will search me everywhere, he will not come here. So Bhaktivinoda Babu, he will not find me. Like that. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur came and searched, he could not find. Then he was very distressed, and then he came back and then started praying to Lord Chaitanya. Then later on, he sent a message, please come to, Swananda, Godrum Dweep, like Godrum Dweep. So later on, he requested, please, give, like again and again he requested. Then finally, Gaurkishore Babaji agreed. Then he gave the cloth, just like in front of Lord Chaitanya, he took, Sanatana Goswami took Babaji Vesh cloth from Tapan Mishra. In the same way, he wore all the clothes left behind by Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Then he took Babaji initiation. Then he merged in bhajan. Then he wrote Harinam Chintamani, then Bhajan Rahasya, so many books he wrote. Then this lecture will be incomplete if I don't say this, that in 1896, he published a book, Lord Chaitanya's Teachings and His Percepts. Lord Chaitanya, His Teachings and Percepts. Prabhupada, that is the Prabhupada's birth year, McGill University. So Prabhupada said, it's a very wonderful coincidence, on the birth year of, this book went beyond, Western countries, like that. And then he appealed that, when will the day come, or a day will come, the devotees from Germany, Russia, China, America, England, they will assemble in Mayapur, and they sing Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, like that. So I will, you can just imagine the greatness of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur by, I will say this last one thing. Of course, I have to describe his passing away, his disappearance, that in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, the very nice pastime was arranged, described. You can just see the greatness of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Once in Yamaloka, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and then Yamaraj, they were sitting together and discussing Srimad Bhagavad-gita. And then, when they came to 9th chapter, 27th verse, I think, Apiche Suduracharo Bhajate Mamanyabhak Sadhureva Samantavya Samyak Vyavastiti Saha Kshipram Bhavati Dharma Atma Shashvat Shantim Nigachati Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. When they came to this verse, they could not understand. Three Mahajanas. They could not understand. Then they found out that a great devotee from Golok Vrindavan, he is residing in Mayapur, in Navadvip Mandal. So they requested Bhaktivinod Thakur. So they took Bhaktivinod Thakur to Yamaloka. Then they gave him a Singhasan. They asked him, please explain this verse, how it is possible. Apiche Sudurachar Bhajate Mamanyabhak. How it is possible? Like that. Then Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur explained Apiche Suduracharo verse. He gave a meaning saying that Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvachantim Nigachati Kaunte Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So he gave this meaning that those people who consider that those who have unflinching devotional service to Krishna, even if sometimes they do abominable activity, those people who consider him as sadhu, they will become purified and they will become sadhus. Not that Abhishek Suduracharo will become purified. Then they all agreed. So all great personalities, like Srila Prabhupada, once he was there in London, Conway Hall, he was giving lecture. Later on, he started laughing. Prabhupada started laughing. Then Yamuna Mataji asked, Prabhupada, why are you laughing? Arey, didn't you see Narad Muni was sitting in the assembly wearing phantom shirt? Like that. Once, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was, one brahmachari observed Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur wake up in the morning, 2 o'clock, and then started from Chaitanya Mat, he started walking towards Yogpit. Then that brahmachari was shocked. Guru Maharaj, where is he going, in the, middle of the night? Where is he going? Then he followed Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, when he reached Yogpit, there is a tumultuous kirtan was going on. Tumultuous kirtan was going on in Yogpit. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta asked, who are all of you? He said, we are all residents of Svetadvip. So we came to know that a great, devotee from Radharani's favorite, from Golok Vrindavan is staying here. That is you. We want to hear Gaur Katha from you. Please share some Gaur Katha with us. So then they gave him a asan. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur sat on the asan. And then all the Svetadvipa Vasis, they sat and then they heard Gaur Katha. Then up to Mangala Arati. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, Mangala Arati ka time hai abhi ja raha hu. So these are all, such, we are very, very fortunate, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur, all, we are very fortunate, like that. So, Srila Prabhupada told, one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivinod Thakur said, my work is unfinished. Then Srila Prabhupada said, let us finish his work. Let us finish his work. Because he is such a great Mahatma, he could have finished. He could have finished. But he was very, very merciful to give us a chance to finish his work. Like that. Then Thakura shut himself in Bhakti Bhavan in the year 1910 so that he could remain uninterruptedly engaged in the divine service of. On June 23rd, 1914, the sun began its southern course. It was the same day that Gadadhar Pandit, the incarnation of Srimati Radharani, had left the world some 450 years before. Precisely at noon, the Thakura entered the eternal pastimes of the Lord, far beyond the vision of the conditioned souls of this world. The Thakura's Samadhi ceremony was delayed until the sun began its northern course. At that time, his last remains were taken from the Bhakti Bhavan and brought to his home in Godrum Dweep. There, they were placed in a silver urn and buried in the midst of a huge kirtana, and festival held in his honor by his disciples and friends. Hundreds took part, and his direct presence was experienced by everyone. Truly, the Thakura's great stanza, composed in glorification of Srila Haridas Thakur, applies to him. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die, when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spend a holy life around. Sri Vaishnavas, they don't celebrate disappearance days, because they say that Vaishnava, they don't disappear. But Srila Prabhupada said, on the days of appearance and disappearance, acharyas, they become extra merciful. Extra merciful. So, Prabhupada said, we should pray to the acharyas on these days to grant us great mercy. Whenever we read, when we read the histories of these great personalities, sort of become depressed, said, wow, where are they? And, struggling, to control senses and absorb, but in 24 hours, you must have heard Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur's calendar, timetable. That's why I don't want to repeat. So 24 hours engaged. So many books he wrote. So many books he wrote. Like that. I have that book, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur commented on Bhagavad-gita. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-gita. Then he published, because he read Srila Vishwanath Chakur Thakur's commentary, then he liked it so much. Along with Srila Vishwanath Chakur Thakur's commentary, he also wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-gita. So he published that book, and then many of the Western scholars and all, they have appreciated the commentary on Bhagavad-gita, like that. Then he wrote Dashamula Sutra. Then he wrote Amnaya Sutras, 130 Amnaya Sutras. Like that, so many bhajans like that. So, Hare Krishna. I think today, Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day also. There is no time. I could not control myself. I thought I would speak about both of them. But Gadadhar Pandit is a very great associate of Lord Chaitanya, incarnation of manifestation of Srimad Radharani. One pastime I will tell. When Lord Chaitanya, he came back from Gaya, so once he was plucking flowers in Shiva's Angan, and then Shriram Pandit and all, they came. They were beaming with the smiles. They were beaming. I said, then Gadadhar Pandit asked, what is the cause of your, happiness? I said, Hare, you don't hear, you won't believe. Our Nimai Pandit became Krishna's devotee. You will not even recognize. He was completely crying, where is my Krishna, where is my Krishna? Like that. So there is a kirtan today evening in Shiva's Pandit's house, Shiva's Angan, like that. So Gadadhar Pandit, even though he was not invited, so, and earlier it was mentioned that Gadadhar Pandit and Chaitanya Nimai Pandit, they studied in the same school, and they were very, very intimate friends. But Gadadhar Pandit never liked Nimai Pandit's scholarly pastimes. He said, he was always, why are you, wasting your time and all that. So once Nimai Pandit asked Gadadhar Pandit, tell me what is mukti. You are Gadadhar Pandit. You tell me what is mukti. Then Gadadhar Pandit, quoting various shastras, he was quoting. He said, Nimai Pandit said, you don't know any shastra. You don't even know what is mukti. Mukti means constantly crying and lamenting. He said, what kind of definition is this mukti? In Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra, there is one name, Rudra. One of the names of Krishna is Rudra. I don't want to discuss. So, Parasara Bhatta, he describes, Rudra means one who makes you cry. One who makes you cry. What is this? Then he explains. Once you have darshan of Krishna, you always cry. You cry. He'll make you cry. When he disappears from your vision, again you will cry in separation. So Rudra, Krishna means makes you cry. Anyway, so that he didn't understand. Then Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit said, you will later understand. Very soon you will understand. Like that. So this is, then Nimai Pandit was crying, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Like that he was rolling on the ground and all the devotees, they were in ecstasy. But Gadadhar Pandit said, I was not invited, but still I will go. Still I will go. So he went and hidden himself in some room. So Nimai Pandit, he was rolling on the ground, crying and all that. Then everybody put water on him, and then the Nimai Pandit came to his senses. Then they said he heard a crying, sound of crying from somewhere. Nimai Pandit said, who is crying? Who is crying? He said, your Gadadhar. Like that. Then once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was there in the Sachimata's house. Then he was actually crying, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? Gadadhar Pandit said, he is in your heart. He is in your heart. Then he started piercing his heart. Where is Krishna? Then Gadadhar Pandit very expertly held his hands and pacified him. Then Mother Sachi said, you are the only solution for my problems. You are very, very expert in managing emotions of Nimai. Please don't leave him at all. Don't leave him at all. Then later on, Gadadhar Pandit shifted to Jagannath Puri. When once Lord Chaitanya, he used to come and he was very expert in reciting Bhagavatam. Gadadhar Pandit. Mahaprabhu gave him instruction, read Bhagavatam every day. Read Bhagavatam every day. Then so Mahaprabhu used to go and hear Bhagavatam from him. He dug out, and then Tota Gopinath deity came, very beautiful deity. And then the Tota Gopinath, he said, Gadadhar Pandit took Kshetra Sannyas. When Lord Chaitanya was going to Vrindavan, he said, I am also coming. Mahaprabhu said, don't break your vow. He said, wherever you are, for me it is Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, all my woes go to hell. He said, you cannot come. He said, you go, I am coming, I am going on my own. I am also going to Vrindavan. He said, no, you can't come. No, I am coming. Like that. He went. Then in Katak, Lord Chaitanya said, come here, Gadadhar. Meri Kasam. It is Meri Kasam, as I will say. Don't speak one more word. Now you fulfilled your wish to break your promise of Kshetra Sannyas. Now don't speak one more word. Just go back. Gadadhar Pandit became unconscious. Then of course, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan. He tried to go to Vrindavan. Then he went up to Ramkeli, Kanai Natshala. Then he came back. Then Lord Chaitanya said, because I made Gadadhar Pandit unhappy, that's why Krishna did not allow me to come to Vrindavan. Gadadhar Pandit felt, he was crying. He said, no, you are the supreme master. Like that. So once Mukundatta took Gadadhar Pandit to Pundarik Vidyanidhi, so he said, he's a very great Vaishnava. When he went there, he was wearing some very nice silk cloths, and he was eating pan and then spitting. And then some guys are there fanning him, all that opulence. Then Gadadhar Pandit, he said, what kind of Vaishnava he is, eating, because Vaishnavas are not supposed to eat pan. Like that. So Mukundatta, he came to realize that, Gadadhar Pandit is having some doubts about Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Lord Chaitanya used to think, Mera baap hai ye, Mera father hai, like that. You know, Vrishabhanu, right? Vrishabhanu. Then Mukundatta started chanting, Varha Pidam Natavarvapuhu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibradvashah Kanakakapisham Vaijayanti Chamalam Randran Venu Radrasudama Purayan Gopa Vrindair Vrindaranyam Swapadarmanam Pravishad Gita Kirtihi Shamam Hiranya Paridim Vanamalya Barha Datu Pravala Natavesham Anuvratamshe Vinayasta Hastamitreno Dunanamubjam Karnotpalalaka Kapola Mukabjahasam. Like that he started reciting 10th kind of Bhagavatam verses. Then immediately Pundarik Vidyanidhi fell from his asan. Then he started rolling and then like that. Then Gadadhar Pandit realized, what a great Vaishnava is. Then later on, he said, in order to become free from offense I committed, I will take initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Then he consulted Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said yes. Then Gadadhar Pandit became a devotee, like that. So later on, when he was become old, he told Gopinath, Tota Gopinath, that I cannot worship you anymore. I became old. Then Tota Gopinath sat down. Right? If you go early in the morning, 5 o'clock for Mangala Arati, if you give 50 rupees, I think 50 rupees, 50 rupees, they will show, Tota Gopinath's, Nija Swarup. Very beautiful. You don't miss. Right? Don't miss this darshan. Whenever you go, there is a Lord Nishingadev temple also. They also have Mangalarti darshan. They have some like that. Hare Krishna. Rasraj, you want to say something? About Bhaktivinod Thakur? Huh? Okay. We'll close. We're already late. Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur ki, Shri Gadadhar Pandit ki, Gaur Premanande.